Hello, and welcome back to Courtside with GametimeCT. I'm Scott Erickson, the girls basketball writer, and we are joined, as always, by Joe Morelli, the boys basketball writer. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing great. Just imagine if that winter storm hit us on Sunday, we would have had another foot of snow, and nobody would be playing. They haven't gotten rid of the other snow from the last one, but we're very fortunate, and it's actually nice and sunny out.
And we got a lot of teams still trying to catch up with games now who are backed up a little bit. Teams playing 6 games in 12 days and that kind of fun stuff as we head into February, One of the best months of the year for high school basketball. Before we get started, please remember to always like and subscribe to the GametimeCT YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram where we have videos from all the games we cover all season, plus all of our features. And of course, go to GametimeCT.com for all of our stories, all our features, all our weekly polls, everything you need to know about high school sports, the midseason reports that Joe and I did. So, without further ado, let's get loose in the shoot-around, Joe. All right, first up, last week, I don't want to cover too much because it was a game last week, but Trumbull made a huge statement in their win over Greenwich. I was at this game. They really took control early. They played great defense, which is their signature. Trumbull has not allowed any team to score over 50, and that held true here. They did a really good job containing Zuri Faison. Greenwich did not help themselves. They were bad from the free throw line. They missed a bunch of layups, and they did not make any three-pointers. If Greenwich is going to win games, they have to make three-pointers. But Steve Tobich and Trumbull, I should say, are always just such lockdown D. And this is a vintage Trumbull team where every kid touches the ball. There's a different high scorer every night. Trumbull is undefeated. They're the top of the Division II standings. Right now, they're the top of the CIAC standings as well. We talked to Michaela Diamond, Trumbull senior, after the game. Let's hear what she had to say.
I mean, undefeated, are you guys thinking about that? Or are you guys taking it a game at a time? What's the approach here?
I mean, it's hard not to think about it, but when we step on the court at practice and in our games, we're just focused at the task at hand, and we just work hard every single day, day in and day out.
Joe, I know I was at Trumbull, and then I think 2 days later you were at Trumbull. So what did you see at Trumbull when you were there? It was a big week for Trumbull here.
Yeah, and they're both still undefeated because Trumbull boys won it North. Yeah, they pulled away from Stanford 67-47. Again, one of those close FCIAC games. Sean Wilson went for 23 points, and he has help, Scott. Like I said, Wilson with 23, Josh Reed at 17. They had almost 4 guys in double figures. So, and that's kind of what Buddy Bray wants. He wants balanced scoring. And as he said, Sean is going to be Sean. And speaking of Sean, we heard from him. This team's unbeaten. What's been the secret to the success so far?
Practices throughout the week. We go after it in practice, go at each other's neck. And then when we're on the court, we play together and we play our butts off.
Sean's going to be Sean, and he's a special player. Deserves every accolade he's getting on and off the court. Just a very great kid just a great kid to coach. Got a 1,000 point. I'm just very proud of him.
Joe, I can't hear you there, bud. Joe, you're muted.
Yes,
buddy.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. 2026, Joe, can't be muted anymore.
Experience on these things, but seriously, as Buddy said, Sean's going to be Sean. He's a high riser. He's 6'3". He's likely headed to prep school. I mean, that's probably his best option for a post-grad season. But Trumbull is very good, and they're still unbeaten, and remains to be seen with Staples on the horizon.
Now, you also, that same night, you saw Jordan Sutton. What did you think of him? Your first chance to see him, the 7-footer from Stanford, in person.
Yeah, it's the first time I got to see him live, as you said, and he's really getting better just from what I've heard about him previously. He's got soft hands. He's got a nice turnaround jump shot, as you see. He's got a little baby hook, or you want to go Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sky hook. He blocked several shots. And there was one instance where Sean Wilson went at him, and he was able to knock him down and get the basket on an offensive putback. Kid's really good. I mean, he's basically their entire offense. I mean, they need some more help from the guards if they're going to be better than their record.
Joe, he looks like
he did get winded though. I mean, Trumbull tried to wear him down, and they were able to. That's one thing, but he's only getting better, and that's why he's going to get interest, because you can't teach 7 feet of mass. I mean, he's got God-given ability, and he's going Division I. I'd be stunned if he didn't.
Well, and Joe, a lot of times you see these 7-footers and they're skinny as a rail. This kid's got a pretty big body already. I don't know how much he's put in the weight room. I don't think he's put in much, but if they get this kid in condition and get him in a weight room, I mean, he could be a beast.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously he's AAU season, and I mean, I wrote a story about this about a month ago, or maybe a little bit less. And like you said, with given time, like Donovan Clingan wasn't the 6A at one point, and he obviously blossomed overnight, and he became the star that he is, and with the Portland Trailblazers. So I'm not suggesting that Jordan Sutton's going to be in the NBA someday. We've got a long way to go. What I am saying is that given time, he's getting better at each game, and with a little bit of help, I think Stanford will be fine with him.
He reminds me a lot of Pascal Chukwu, who was sort of the same way. It was sort of raw when he started. By the time he left, it was good, and every year in college kept getting better also. Yeah,
started at Trinity Catholic, transfers to Fairfield Prep, and became into his own, helped the team win a state championship. No, they lost to Central, my bad.
They lost to Central, yes. So
yes, the next year they won without him. But,
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about it. But they had a 20-point lead, and that's another – anyway, that's a long story. But, yeah, and then he went on to Syracuse and to Providence and Syracuse in that order. And, yes. And he was, like I said, very raw at Trinity Catholic. Really, but, you can't teach height. So
you're 7 feet.
And this kid's bigger. This kid's got a bigger body, bigger frame than Pascal did, but not bigger than Donovan. So it's really intriguing to see. Again, they're a little bit over 500 right now. I'm very curious. I don't think teams want to see this kid in the FCIAC in the postseason, but they're going to, because they're in Division I, so they're going to be in that no matter what.
And also in the boys, one of the undefeated teams went down, Joe. Cromwell took a loss.
Yeah, we're down to 6 teams. Again, Old Lyme is the defending Shoreline champion. Cromwell was undefeated. It was a close game. Eddie Fisk is the reigning Shoreline Conference Player of the Year. He finished with 23 points. Xavier Hodge had 27 for Cromwell. Again, Cromwell's, they're in the finals almost every single year. But to me, it's Old Lyme's to lose. And I mean, is this game different if the game's at Cromwell? Probably, but it isn't. And Old Lyme's only loss is to Fitch, which is on the outskirts of the top 10. So it would not shock me in the least to see these two teams play in the Shoreline final in a few weeks.
We were going to go through an episode without talking about Abdou Toure, but the McDonald's All-American nominees came out, and then the selections came out, and Abdou Toure was not there, Joe. What did you think of that?
I was a little surprised. Again, I don't claim to know the process. I mean, you're picking 24 kids throughout the entire nation. Now, Abdou Toure was 26th in the 247 sports rankings. By rivals, he's 11th. He went from 37th to 26th in the 247 sports rankings based off his 31-point performance, 8 rebounds, 6 block shots up at the Hoop Hall Classic. Obviously, the kid who broke the record in that game, Jason Crow Jr., going to Missouri, he got selected. I do think he should have been selected. He's one of the highest prospects, not to be selected. The last Connecticut kid to be selected, a Connecticut-born kid, was Chris Dunn out of New London in 2012. I mean, just think. No Tremont Waters, no Donovan Clingan, no Mustafa Heron. Like I said, do I think Connecticut gets a bad rap? I think that speaks for itself. It's an easy second guess, but you and I pick all-state teams. We know about cutting, just not on that level.
Right.
I do think he should have been selected. I'm sure he's going to use that as motivation the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys, those elite players always use that stuff as a chip on their shoulder to just keep getting better and better. All right, let's talk about the polls here, Joe. I know that a ton is happening in the polls, but let's look at the girls' poll first. There was not too much movement in the poll this week. We did see Greenwich slide down, New Britain slide up, and Rocky Hill and Staples both swap spots there. Not too many teams moved around this week. Not too much losing. Greenwich did lose to Trumbull, but only fell one spot. The thing that we're getting chirping about is the teams right outside the top 10, specifically Seymour. Seymour fans are chirping us on Instagram. They want to be ranked. They want to know why they're not in the top 10. Here's the thing. Seymour's 15-1. They only lost to Ward. They beat Ludlow out of the FCIAC. They have wins over Holy Cross and St. Paul this year. I think the only thing holding them back in the eyes of the voters is that they're in Division 3. And I don't know if you saw this when the boys went to the numbered divisions as opposed to, say, double LL, an M or double M or whatever. I think, but people may have been more willing to vote for a double M team than they are for a D3 team. Having said that, Seymour's right out there. If Sheehan or Staples or Rocky Hill loses, Seymour could slide in and become a top 10 team. They have two really, really good players in Mia Cunningham and Victoria Mikhailchik. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. I'm probably not. Apologies to Victoria.
They'll let you know. Don't worry.
They'll let me know. But yeah, Seymour's not shy about letting us know. And look, I want people to say it, to let us know. Like, you think your team belongs in the top 10? Let us know why. Coventry, same thing. They're 13-1. They play in the NCCC. They have the same argument as Seymour. They think that they belong up there. Right now, there's no Division 3 teams in the poll. We'll see if that changes over time. Seymour and Coventry, both definitely in consideration. They're right there, right outside in the voting. And they're going to play for a D3 championship also. So that will be the ultimate test of everything, if you can win a D3 championship. But we see you, Seymour. We see you, Coventry. We know you're there. A few more wins, maybe you'll get in. Rocky Hill was mad a few weeks ago, and now we haven't heard from them in a while. So, all right, Joe, anything in the boys' poll that interests you this week?
Oh, a lot of things interest me, Scott. No, but the top 8 remain the same. Notre Dame still on unanimous number 1, followed by Windsor, Staples, Notre Dame Prep, East Catholic, West Haven, Northwest Catholic, Ellington, Trumbull, and New London. Now, to use your Trumbull and New London switch spots. So now New London is third, last. New London's only in-state loss was to Fitch, who also lost last week. Trumbull's unbeaten. Ellington's Division 3. They've been in the poll all year. They're unbeaten. So the answer to the critics, if there are any, with Woodland and North Haven, they're both undefeated. They both play each other February 11th. So one of them won't be in the top 10. I'm sure everybody wants to be in the top 10. But to me, I've always said this, and I will continue to say as long as I'm running this poll as the poll administrator, winning takes care of itself. You keep winning. You don't worry about all the noise, and it'll be fine. There's nothing wrong with being 11th and 12th in my mind, because those two teams, North Haven and Woodland, are among the top teams in Division 3 and Division 4. All I will say is this. Woodland did a great job beating Holy Cross by 20. Next day, they only beat WCA by 3. Brantford was up 17 on North Haven, and North Haven made a great comeback Monday night to win. Point being, it's really hard to go unbeaten, and they've done a really good job, and you want to be recognized for it. But I would think a lot of those teams in the top 10 belong where they belong. So,
look, if you're the 11th, 12th team and you feel like you're being disrespected, that's a great way to motivate your 15-1 team, is to be like, hey, we're 15-1 still, nobody believes
us. Or your 15-0 team.
Yeah,
14
or
or whatever.
Team, the boys' side, right? Yeah, like nobody believes in us. Come on, guys. Like, right. Great motivation, fantastic motivation. We always love being bulletin board material around here, Joe.
Oh, that goes without saying. So,
all right, let's get into the main part here. Let's get to the tip-off. We're a couple years in here, Joe, on a few rules. Shot clock is one. I want to talk to you about that. And then the other one is the taking away the one-on-one free throws and going to the 5 fouls per quarter.
Yep.
Let's start with the shot clock. Have you seen any issues on your end this year, last season, with the shot clock? And how are you seeing the shot clock develop so far?
Yeah, I have not. I've been proponent of the shot clock. I think a lot of big deal was made about not having it, not having the money in the budget, which is obviously important. But to me, it prepares kids for the next level. And I think that it has been good. And I don't think it's been a really big deal. I mean, once in a while you hear it go off. But I think enough of the high school teams really can't maintain an offense for 35 seconds. What it was meant to prevent, in my mind, was the good teams pulling the ball out, going four corners and having to run an offense. And you can't do that anymore. I mean, you could do it for however many seconds. I think the shot clock's been fine. I think it's been a great addition. And all the big deal leading up to it, it's all gone away.
Yeah, it seems to be run pretty well. I don't see a lot of technical issues with the guys running it, with the referees. All that stuff was worked out.
I see that those instances, but I mean that happens. Like they didn't start the clock on time. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean I see that. But as far as how it impacts the game, those are human errors. It's not the shot clock. It's you know what I mean. It's the person running it, or it was reset wrong, or something along those lines. It's not the issue of these kids can't run an offense. You kind of take a minute. That hasn't been a big problem.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is pining for the days of the small school that just would hold the ball and try to run clock and run back doors and do all that. No one misses, the minute and a half possessions. But like you said, most teams can't possess the ball that long anyway.
Yeah.
I rarely see the shot clock come into play in the girls' side. I mean, once in a while it'll get under 10, but very rarely. And that's usually when the team's playing really good defense. It's
almost like you forget about it.
You almost forget about it. Most of the time you forget about it until you hear someone yell 5 seconds or something like that, The other rule, which was not as ballyhooed, but I think makes much more of an impact on the game, is they eliminated the one-on-ones. So what it used to be was when you got to 7 fouls, you got one-on-one. When you got to 10 fouls, it was 2 shots, and those were per half. So if a team would run out in the first quarter and pick up 6-7 fouls, you're shooting one-on-ones and then 2 shots the rest of the first quarter and the rest of the second quarter. It really slowed down the game. What they do now is 5 fouls per quarter. You hit that 5 fouls, you go right to 2 shots. There's no more one-on-ones because they don't want people banging in the lanes unnecessarily, whatever. I don't think that's a big deal. But I will say, as far as the game flow goes, I really love the 5 fouls per quarter. Because it resets every quarter, you get to start over. So you could have both teams in the bonus for the first quarter. Second quarter, neither team gets there. And I think that's great. Instead of stopping the game constantly, every single foul to go to the line, this is much better. Now, where I do see it come to play is end-of-game scenarios where a team needs to foul, and all of a sudden you look up and they only have committed 1 foul, and they have to go out and commit 4 fouls just to get a team to the bonus when they're trying to stop the clock. But I think that, again, makes it much more interesting down the stretch of a game when you have to think about that. You have to think about picking up more fouls than you really want to pick up. You're putting kids in that you might not to pick up those fouls. The strategy of it has bbeen fantastic. I really like the new foul rule. Let me see what you think, Joe. What do you think of the final
I'm
fouls?
reading the story that I wrote about this. It was basically, this is the 3rd season. From the NFHS, the Rules Committee studied data that showed higher injury rates on rebounding situations and saw this as an opportunity to reduce opportunities for rough play during rebounds. Additionally, resetting the fouls each quarter will improve game flow and allow teams to adjust their play by not carrying foul totals to quarters 2 and 4. I think a lot of what you said, you're more passionate about it than I am, to be honest. I kind of miss putting the pressure on the free throw shooters, and because you get a 2, you're more relaxed. I kind of like the one-on-one, but yes, it doesn't drag out the game like it did. It does, and now it's 5, you're resetting, which is, I think, makes less pressure on the defense. You don't have to worry about fouling or like you said, God forbid you have 2 fouls and you have to kind of you're trailing. And you have to go foul. So I'm good either way. I think it's probably worked out the way they expected the NFHS. I don't think it's a big deal. If we went back the other way, it wouldn't bother me, to be honest.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's a good conversation, and like it's good to revisit these things once in a while because now they just sort of become commonplace. And I still think a lot of people don't even know the 5-foul thing. People that are new to varsity basketball, as your kid grows up, that's not a rule anywhere else.
Yeah, I think that's
that's
the issue, is that now you're doing something, and you will have to do something different when you go to college.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the youth level, but now you're a freshman coming in, you have 2 fouls, and then if you're good enough to play at college, the next level, it's now back to 7. So again, it's not a huge adjustment, but I think it's fine either way. I have no problem with it. And like I said, it's less pressure on the kids to worry about fouling and to make free throws because you get 2 no matter what.
All right, Joe. I want to do something new and fun this week, and I want it to be a reoccurring.
We have fun here? We're allowed to have fun?
Joe, right. We're allowed to have fun. I don't know if this is going to be fun for you. I think it will be, though, because I think you are such a man, a wealth of knowledge of high school boys basketball in Connecticut. What I want to do is it's called Guess the All-State Team.
Okay.
So this is what I'm going to do, Joe. I'm going to give you the team minus the MVP, and you have to tell me who the MVP was and what year this team was from. You got it? So I'll give you the whole lineup minus the MVP and minus the year. You give me the year and the MVP. And you're going
to put it on the screen? Wait, are you going to put it on the screen, or are you going to read off the names?
I'm going to read off the names. If I put it on the screen, you can see it. That's not going to be fair.
Yeah, it's fair. Okay. We need to be fair here.
I want to be fair, Joe. I want to be fair, please.
You're supposed to be a colleague to help out a brother. Come on.
I'm helping you out. This is going to be a popular segment. I think people are going to love this because they can guess the team along with you, Joe. See if they can beat the great Joe Morelli at guessing these.
Yeah.
All right, here is the team. Brian Glowiak, New Britain. Craig Austry, Trinity Catholic.
Yep.
James Moore, Crosby. Geary Glaxton, Career. Aaron Jackson, Northwest Catholic.
I'm going to stop you there. 2004. That was a great team. I mean, in fact, you didn't give me the MVP, which I knew you were holding on, was Dave McClure from Duke, who went to Duke from Trinity.
I mean, Joe, you got it before I even finished the thing.
Yeah, that's a great team. Glowiak was coached by his father, Stan. Claxton.
Let me tell you the rest of the guys. Let me tell you the rest of the guys.
All right, go ahead. I don't want to ruin your fun. Go ahead.
Anthony Brown, Wilbur Cross. Sean Dell, Ginyard, Bridgeport Central. John Lucky, Sacred Heart.
Yep.
Julian Allen, Crosby. John Bowman, Staples. And John Davis, Windsor.
Well, looking at this, Bauman went on to play at Columbia. Moore was one of that great Crosby team that ended up winning it the next year. Austry went to play at UConn. Glowiak we talked about. Shondell Ginyard was a great player at Central. Never really went anywhere. I am going to say this. Listen, Abdou Toure is one of the best high risers I've seen in 20-plus years. The best high riser I have ever seen dunker is Anthony Brown from Wilbur Cross. They called him Country. He was awesome. He's one of the few guys I've ever jumped out of my seat for. SEC tournament quarterfinals. He had a dunk that was unbelievable.
Where did he end up in college?
He didn't really go anywhere, to my knowledge, unfortunately. And that Wilbur Cross team went to the semifinals, losing to Trinity Catholic, which was back then, I believe, Division I. A little bit different format than the Division I we have now.
That's a heck of a Trinity Catholic team with Craig Austry and Dave McClure.
What's that?
Craig Austry and Dave McClure on that same team.
Well, he had 4 Division I players.
Unbelievable.
4 Division I players, and he only went 6 deep, Mike.
I don't know if any of them were from Connecticut.
Yeah, I believe Dave McClure was from Ridgefield.
Oh, and Trumbull. There was a Trumbull on that team.
Trumbull, and the kid who went to Maine, I want to say, too. I forget his name. Anywho, I think this is a nice segment. I might actually grow to like this.
All right. Next week, maybe let me finish the name.
No, but that's not part of the thing. I'm supposed to guess it before.
You got it. What name gave it to you? What gave it to you?
I knew it was around that time, but once you mentioned Claxton, I knew it was the 2004.
Well, he was your all area MVP that year.
Yeah, you got to remember, it used to be the New Haven Register All-State Team, so anybody can remember those. So you may have to find a year that doesn't have New Haven kids on it. Not too many of those, though.
All right, next week I got to really try to stop you there, Joe. I'm gonna have to dig deep into the archives and see if I can beat you there. I'm trying to stick with the years where you picked the team, so you knew these kids. I don't want to have to go back to the '80s or anything like that.
Well, yeah, then you'll get me because back then it used to be 5 people. It used to be just 5. So
yeah,
that would be much harder. That was before my time, but thank you though.
Oh, awesome. All right. Now we're going to get to our listener questions. Oh, look at this graphic we got. Courtside mailbag. This is fancy, Joe. This is really fancy. All right. Here's the question. From the games you guys have been to so far, which school team has the best fan section? That's a good one. Joe, you've seen some good fan sections this year. Trumbull had a great one the other night. What do you got? What's your best one?
They did. If I had to pick one this year, it's the Eagles Nest and East Catholic. I mean, that game at Windsor was sold out. I mean, and again, it's Windsor and East Catholic. It'll probably be sold out next week at Windsor. So I just like their crowd support. I think that, I mean, if I remember correctly, East Catholic was down like 17, 18 points and came all the way back to almost tie it. And a lot of that had to do with the crowd motivating them. So, again, I haven't seen a ton. I mean, Trumbull was very good, but to me, it was East Catholic's Eagles Nest.
The girls is a little tricky because, we showed footage from the Trumbull game. Your game had a huge crowd. My game had a lot of parents, a lot of people were there, but there's not a huge student section. Generally, the girls' games during the regular season don't draw big student sections for whatever terrible reason that is. I don't know. Because they're missing good basketball. But my favorite environment that I've been to is Sacred Heart Academy. They had that little gym there with the stage on the end. You got the section of nuns. They had a pretty good student cheering section for their game against Greenwich. I really like going there. And even though it's an old Catholic gym, they do a little bit of a light show before the game starts. And they got like the spotlight on the kids and the music and everything. So I'm going to go with Sacred Heart Academy. I like that gym a lot. All right, Joe. Let's look at some games to watch coming up this week. Let's start with the boys. Joe, what are the games that are looking to you like the ones people should go see?
Well, I'll tell you what. Staples at Ludlow tonight. Staples, number 3, ranked one of the 6 remaining undefeateds. Going to Fairfield Ludlow, never an easy place to play. Ludlow coming off a loss at Richfield. Also, Tuesday night, Hill House at number 6, West Haven. West Haven's only loss is to Notre Dame West Haven back in December. West Haven beat Hill House on Martin Luther King Day at the Floyd Little Athletic Center in New Haven. Now it goes to West Haven. I mean, Hill House had won 8 in a row against the Westies. So that's an intriguing game. Hill House kind of needs it. They've been struggling, 4 straight losses before beating Law on Friday. Glastonbury, East Hartford. Glastonbury won the home game. East Hartford probably would like to get some revenge. That's Wednesday night. And then, Newington is kind of quietly going about its business with Josiah Sims, 1,000 points. He's trying to get 1,000 rebounds. They've got 1 loss to undefeated Ellington, and they host Platt, who plays a great schedule. I mean, Platt's losses are to East Hartford, Northwest Catholic, and Windsor. So,
not bad.
I kind of alluded to a couple things. Next week's going to be a huge, huge week if people take care of their business this week. You have undefeateds playing undefeated. It's going to be a great week of games. Even if somebody loses, it's going to be great. So I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, like we said, February is such a fun time. February is a fun time for high school basketball. All right, let's look at the girls' side and see what we got coming up next week. Or coming up this week, sorry. Starting with Danbury and Richfield tonight, Tuesday night. Danbury's playing really, really well. Richfield's one of the toughest places to play. Also tonight, Sacred Heart, number 2 in the state, is at number 7, Mercy. They beat Mercy by 25 earlier in the year. We'll see if Mercy can give them a run this time or if Sacred Heart's just going to keep dominating in state teams. Also on Wednesday night, undefeated Trumbull gets a really big test when they play St. Joseph's. That will be at the Pitt Center as part of a boy-girl doubleheader. St. Joseph has beaten them 3 of the last 4 years. We'll see if Trumbull can get out of there this year. Bethel and Barlow, 2 of the best players in the SWC, Vivian Stewart from Bethel and Mia Tartaglia from Barlow. That one should be fun up there. And then the big one in the NVL, Friday night, Seymour at Ansonia. Seymour handed Ansonia its only loss of the season. Seymour has not lost inside the NVL. That should be an awesome NVL matchup on Friday night, and everyone is looking forward to that, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to about do it for us here, Joe. I think that's it. You got anything else?
Do you have any more All-State teams for me to guess? No? Next week?
Well, I feel like you could play that game all day.
I probably couldn't enjoy it.
Maybe I'll have 2 ready next week if you're going to go that fast.
Well, isn't that part of the fun to try to guess it before the final answer?
I love the fact that you got it early. That's fantastic.
Yeah, should probably remember more important things more readily than the All-State basketball teams. But you cover it long enough. Like, you've been at this a long time. You just kind of remember certain things.
You remember, yeah.
Or it comes back to your memory.
Thing triggered you.
Yeah. No, but it's the amazing thing, Scott, is it's only a few weeks left, and then it would be into the league tournaments. It goes by. It's a long season, but it goes by fast.
I'm gonna try to find Calvin Murphy's All-State team and see if you can pick out on that. I think actually Calvin Murphy was All-State the same year Dave Bike was All-State. When I remember from looking at those old lists, but that's for another time, Joe. All right, we will be live again here next week at noon. Don't forget to leave us a comment on Instagram. Leave us a comment on the YouTube. Ask us questions or topics that you want us to discuss here every week. For Joe, for producer Danny, I'm Scott. We will see you next week on Courtside with GametimeCT.